hear us.
Yes, please do.
So we're back again. I'm DrGeorgianne Thomas, and I do a slice of life. And tonight I'm doing a live program with my daughter,
Oh,
Reverend Evelyn Sanders, because you hear
so
me
fun.
talk about her all the time,
Hmm.
and you hear me talk about her book and Evelyn Sanders Swafford and her book and so forth and so on. And I don't ever get the verses right and all of that in the Bible, so I got Bible with me tonight. And then we
Try
had
to.
people out here that said you can hear. So now we need you to come back. Is there anybody out there that can tell us whether or not you can hear us?
Oh, let me try. I can do it this way. Let me
Okay,
let
let's
me
do
go
it
to
that
your
way.
channel on
Okay.
my phone, and that way, we try to do some technical troubleshooting to see if that would help. And let's see.
And we
We
lost everybody, so
that's
hope they come back.
let's see.
And we lost everybody.
Ah,
Oh,
volume.
yay, volume. All right, then. We'll just talk until somebody
Okay, all
shows
right.
up.
Tell you what, I'll just okay. What I'll do is I'll go live on
Okay.
this, and I can test mine too.
Okay, good.
This is our first. We're hey, YouTube is you get the benefit of being flexible.
I like you too, because you don't have to dress. You don't have to do anything. You can have no teeth.
Um,
You
okay, so
know,
now let me go to over here on this one and see.
if it's working.
Yes, if you have volume on this one because we didn't have volume on the other one beforehand. And let's see, view channel.
All right.
Oh, am I live yet? Yeah, it's supposed
Yes,
to be
it's
live.
live.
Okay, hold on. Oh, is that me? Let's see if I can.
Okay, so
Oh
let's
yeah,
talk.
can you hear me? Oh, that was that's not live right now.
No,
Mm-mm.
we need the live one.
I need the live that's right now. Hey, to refresh my page.
It says live.
It does say live. Okay, but it's not. There it is. Hmm. All right, Lord, we need you to come on in here in this place. It's not showing me.
When you hit live.
Yeah, I mean it's not giving me my channel.
Oh.
I see your channel. Huh? Where are my videos?
Hello,
Oh,
everybody.
maybe because I don't know. I should be able to go. Maybe I can't go live on my own channel. Maybe I can't test my own channel.
You
Maybe you
did
have.
before. Oh,
Okay.
hello. Are you there?
Hi. Okay. Can we hear now?
Can anybody hear us? Hello. All right. Well, can you hear us? We had a problem before because people could not hear us,
Yeah, it's not showing me anything on my channel.
and so listen. So I'm going to reintroduce myself. Many of you know me from A Slice of Life. Yeah, you know, I have the big glasses on, and I have the super aging book, and I come on Mondays through Fridays, and then on some days I show you my daughter's book, this book right here, and you see. So today we thought we would come on and talk about some of the things that's going on right now in America. I marched with Dr. King back in 1960, and here I am in 2025 talking about the same things that happened in 1960. And so my daughter, mother and daughter conversation, she just wanted to know how did I feel about what is happening. Uh, okay, so
I got you. I'm sorry. Go
okay,
ahead. Mm-hmm.
so in a mother daughter conversation, how do I feel having gotten burned when I marched with Dr. King, carried the placards, all the things that my class did, Spelman College class of 1964. How do we feel now? When I talk to my classmates, the few of us who are still living, because I'm 82, we're in our 80s, we're concerned that we did all of that work, all that marching, all that sacrifice, all that getting burned by a cigarette, all that being spat on, all
Mm-hmm.
that singing we shall overcome. We did all of that. And then today in 2025, we remain
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure out why are we having the same conversations?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we it seems like we're going backwards. So we made a decision. One, my group, we're 82 years old. We have already been there, done that. We have made a decision that we are too old to do anything about it now. We
Mm-hmm.
did our part. We're stressed,
Okay.
but we've done our part, and we leave it to the young people to do it.
Yeah, that's I want you to lean in because we have the vertical thing. That's what I was thinking the other day. I was like, Mom went through this. She marched with her classmates as a foot soldier in the Atlanta student movement, and it just struck me one day as, my goodness, what is my mother and her classmates, her colleagues, friends? What do you all think about what's happening? I know this is not something you imagine seeing again,
Mm-mm.
seeing the rollbacks and seeing the attempt to
Erase all of our history,
erase
everything we've
the
done,
history of
and
what was
erase us
done,
as a people.
erasing it from websites and
Mm-hmm.
from just historical places, and closing down historical monuments, and as if it did not happen. If the work that you did not happen. The people who put their lives on the line, put their bodies on the line, put their bodies in the movement,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could have a just country, so that America could be the country that it promised to be. And I know you talk to your friends often, so it just struck me. So we talked last week. Okay, why don't we have this conversation on YouTube and share your thoughts, about how you are processing it and how your contemporaries are processing it, and then maybe in your processing it, what gems or wisdom can you share with us in terms of what do we do now? Where do we go from here? Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so I read some commentary from the people who are MAGA lovers, and I was just in a stress, but I understood their thoughts.
Hmm.
I understood that they really, really believe that the person that they voted for is doing the right thing about, and when they put it in this order, the right thing about what is it? Getting people out of the country who were illegal.
Mm.
And so I heard Bernie Sanders says, yes, we support some of that. We don't want people in here that are illegal. All right. So having said that, they have made that statement a part of the preface or the foundation for all the other statements are being made, erasing us from erasing the DEI, erasing the educational department, just erasing. And then the next thing they said was, we want to save money, and he's saving us money. Now, if you really believe that he's saving you money, it's hard to get the MAGA people off of the two things. And one, he's saving money, and two, he's sending people away because that young lady got killed by an illegal person. And then there's been another person that was killed day before yesterday or something, or harmed allegedly by an illegal person. So you got two major statements that they really believe, which means when they believe those two things, everything else is okay with them. So when you come along with me and I said, wait a minute, you erasing everything that we've done. We marched back in the 60s. We want to have diversity. We collaborate. We cooperate. We want freedom. We want people to say, this is America. This is democracy. And then you said you're going to look at Hannah Jones' piece on democracy. What does democracy look like to you? And democracy looks different to everybody else. And so first, we have never defined democracy where it would be an acceptable democracy. Like, for instance, when Kavanaugh took a knee, and then they called him not being democratic because he said, American. You're not being American because Americans don't do that. But then, so for me, that was a part of what democracy looks like, but it didn't look like that to other people. And because that same president is in there now, then he called them all kind of names. So now he's back to that. He doesn't agree with that. That's not how democracy looks to him. And the problem I see is that you got Lynn's looking at a premise, looking at a what is basic, we think democracy, but it's being interpreted all kinds of different ways. And therein lies the problem. And I don't know that you can change the MAGA people. When I read some of the some of the responses on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, I had to grab my pearls. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
believe it. And I said, you know what? There's no change in them. So this is what I'm asking
Okay.
my classmates and you all to do.
Okay.
Work on your democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Work on the democracy that we know and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Work on getting yourselves elected to be in a place where you can work on that democracy. Keep our people out the streets because we already know that it's a setup to kill us and get the martial law going. So let's keep ourselves calm. Let's continue our lives. Let's gather. Let's work together in what we understand as democracy. And some kind of way we need to circle the wagon, but we can't circle the wagon because there's not enough of us. It's not enough of us right now to
Mm-hmm.
circle the wagon because we need to circle the wagon. Meaning the people who go in charge now, we got to put some kind of circle around it, and how do we get our people? How do I get my people, Bernie Sanders and all the other Democratic people who've been here, the foundational people? How can I get them to help me circle the wagon when in fact they are arguing with one another?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Well, the argument of using people who may or may not be in this country unlawfully,
Mm-hmm.
which is one way, maybe another way of saying um, it, who may or may not be in this country unlawfully, as an entry point to um, bring forth other actions that may be harmful to a wide variety of people
Mm-hmm.
who are American citizens and who are in the country, and I say lawfully,
Yes,
as
lawfully.
the legally lawfully in the country.
Mm-hmm.
When the effort is put on going after persons who may or may not be in the country unlawfully, what happens is that even those persons are subject to their humanity being dismissed and discounted,
Mm-hmm.
in the name of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Name of the law. And while you can make the argument for there are some the rules of law need to be followed, what seems to be happening is that the rule of law has become arbitrary
It is
and does not exist as we
subjective.
yeah, subjective. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist as we always know it or knew it to be.
And that's something we had in this
Right.
country.
We could always rely on
Law
the
and
rule of
order.
law.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
right.
always rely that well no, I mean let me not say always rely. Let me not say always rely. As civil rights became legislation.
Okay, okay, all right, all right.
And not just a pursuit, but
Mm-hmm.
legislation.
Mm-hmm.
It was the rule of law that helped it become legislation
Okay.
and help it become legal, if you
Okay.
will.
Mm-hmm.
So now what's happening is when you want to say, hey, we want to lawfully remove unlawful people from this country, but you're doing so in a way that's inhumane, then what concerns me is that opens the the floodgate for treating everyone inhumanely
Mm-hmm.
and discounting the humanity of everyone, all in the name of we're trying to meet a goal or be lawful or remove people who are unlawfully here.
Mm-hmm.
However, when that's happening, it's setting up, it's like unlawful, normalizing the inhumane treatment of human beings publicly. Mm-hmm. Publicly so. News stories, headlines, in the name of meeting a goal and keeping a law, and in the name of making cuts. So even the firings and the layoffs, that's inhumane treatment as
Mm-hmm.
well. So my concern has been the humanity of people, American citizens, and those who may not be American citizens, their humanity being discounted, being dismissed, and being degraded. and the lack of dignity with which people are being treated.
But it's already a precedent.
Right.
And
Yes,
so
yes, there is, but
slavery.
there is,
Mm-hmm.
but we're in this. There's not only a but we're in this time frame where we thought that was long ago history,
Mm-hmm.
and that we would not see anything like that happen
Mm-hmm.
again. But we are watching
History
the history
repeat.
repeat itself, the
Mm-hmm.
residue of that, the vestiges of that. We're watching that
Mm-hmm.
come to fore,
Mm-hmm.
and we're watching people watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they watched it before.
Yeah, and they watched it before.
They watched the Holocaust.
They watched
They watched the
before.
slavery.
They watched the enslavement of African
They
people
did.
in this country. They watched the beatings. They watched the
Lynchings.
lynchings.
They didn't do anything
They
about
watched
it.
the selling away of people,
Mm-hmm.
and and watched in a way to protect their own sense of power, position, all
And
of that.
those ancestors are still living, just like we're ancestors. We are our
Descendants.
ancestors. We talk about our ancestors, and we are
The
the
descendants.
results of the descendants of ancestors,
Mhm.
and they are also the results and the descendants of the masters,
Mhm.
the slaveholders.
Mhm.
They are still living. That is why it can repeat itself.
But what concerns me is that whole lack of humanity, that lack of understanding of common humanity. Yeah. And so when you look at the appeal for human rights,
Mm-hmm.
right, that your classmates drafted, that made its debut in March 9th, 1960,
Mm-hmm.
an appeal for human rights um, that was a part of the manifesto of the Atlanta student movement. The key word in there was human rights.
Human rights, right.
So human rights was the foundation of civil rights,
Mm-hmm.
and the argument being made that as human beings, based on the Constitution, we don't even have time to get the Constitution right now, but based on the Constitution, as human beings, then these are the rights that we are supposed to have as human beings, albeit now called civil rights. So human rights, the humanities, where the whole thing started.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're having this erosion of understanding of common humanity. And as the appeal starts off, and I don't have it in front of me, if I can try to quote it directly, but in our documentary, Foot Soldiers Class of 1964, which you can find on pbs.org, Foot Soldiers Class of 1964. It starts off with Dr. Rosalynn Pope reading the appeal, and she says, "In a nation professing to be Christian." In a nation professing to be Christian. So as a Christian, both of us as Christians, and then also as a Christian minister, it concerns me even more so to see the ungodliness of all that's taking place. It's like, this is not what Jesus would do. This is not the gospel of Jesus Christ.
No.
So when you're professing Christianity, and all these folks, they went to church today.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
They went to church. Today is Sunday. They went to church today. And that, you go like, whoo, like we ran pearls. You go like, whoo, let me clutch my pearls. They went to church today. And so when you're talking about, help me Jesus, a nation professing Christianity, as the appeal says, talking about human rights, then that starts with the place of love. Starts with a place of love.
Right, and you would stay in the Christianity, but it's not. We call in God we trust. All that's on paper.
Right, and that is the complication. That is the what's the word I can think of? The conflict to me. The contradiction.
Contradiction, yeah.
That's the contradiction that we're walking in and moving in,
yes.
Right now. And it's that contradiction that's being ratified on so many levels and so many arenas, so many places.
It was ratified.
Yeah, it was being ratified. You're off.
It's all right.
Being ratified, and that contradiction is being ratified, and we see it from day to day to day to day, day to day to day. You go, well, how could this be so? Even when we were coming along, growing up as an heir of the civil rights movement, I'll speak for myself. I or I think it was understood, but at least communicated that at the very least in this our day and time,
Mm-hmm.
even if racism still existed, and it still
And it
does,
does.
that there was an understanding that I had, or at least tried to have, that when the in a push, in a pinch, people's humanity might override racism. What I mean by that, meaning that if I'm stopped on the side of the road and I need some help, that if a white person stopped to help, that it's not inconceivable for a white person to stop and help me, because they
Right.
would see when I
That's
was
a
growing
fairy
up.
book.
Huh?
Yeah. That's a fairyland
Yeah,
now.
when I was growing up, it was not inconceivable that a white person would stop and
Mm-hmm.
help you, even though you knew all that had happened, all that was going on, because your parents told you about it, and you were the
Mm-hmm.
next generation after that. It was not inconceivable that that could happen necessarily, so because they would see someone in need. Conversely, a black person would stop and help someone white
But let
on
me
the side of
stop
the
you
road.
just for a minute. We have been talking about this for the last 400 years. We thought, in the book, The Coming, the first line that Dr. Black says, we didn't know we were not going to be going back. And so my thing has been, we have been looking at these people to think that they would be humane when it comes to looking at people who don't look like them. We have been waiting for an awakening. We only got the awakening with the laws, which you can pull up, and the acts that have happened. Well,
Mm.
so we got the act of this and the act of that and the signature of this, a signature of that, but none of that. All that was on paper, but nothing where you talking about in the heart.
Okay, right. Yes, so not in the full scale that we need for it to be,
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
we thought that it should be.
Right. Right.
And and I really hate cliches at the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
Yes.
that's what becomes, when it's all said and done, that's
Mm-hmm.
what becomes troubling, because uh, it is has to be painful to be filled with hate and rage every day,
Every day.
and to be filled with a desire to see others suffer and to go through that suffering,
Mm-hmm.
to be alienated from God, our Creator. That has
Oh
to
no, they go to
be,
church.
no, alienated from, you can go to church every day but not know
Okay.
the Lord. Yeah. Alienated from God, our Creator.
Mm-hmm.
Alienated from understanding who God is, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing separates you from the love of God.
Right.
Understanding that we're
That God is love
God is
first.
love. God
God is
is love,
love.
and that we were made in the image of God as
Right.
God's creation. And so,
Yes.
not to have that full understanding, that when you understand you're made in God's image, and everybody is made in God's image, then to be able to enact that kind of harm on others. So you have folks um, who alienated from God, and so
Mm-hmm.
that is what has to be painful. So as we keep ourselves centered on what we do, as human beings, out here still, we still have to live and work and be in the world. Then
So
we
here's
have to
here's
remember, yeah,
here's another thing. Human beings is what you use that term,
yeah,
and that term does not apply when it comes to people of color. If you remember, it never applied until somebody made a signature, because we were 3/5 or however many fifths human. When the Constitution was written, we were not written in as humans.
right,
We were only written in as partial humans
mm-hmm.
because we were mostly property and cattle and, well, that's not the word,
Not cattle,
property
it's
and
property, yeah,
but
property,
property.
yeah,
Okay, so as property,
yeah,
we are considered property still. And what had happened was
mm-hmm.
that the property owners were forced into freeing us, not because they wanted to free us, but for economic reasons. And because we were free for economic reasons and not for humane reasons,
Mm-hmm.
then that's why it's still lurking in the DNA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, as we come to a close, I'll share this, and then you can give us your final words of wisdom. Jesus shares this commandment. It says, "I give you a new commandment." This is before he is to be. This is well, yeah. This is before he's to be crucified.
Okay.
Um,
See why I have her here?
I give you a new commandment that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. That's a new commandment that Jesus gives. And we know in the AME Church, we say, you should love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You should love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. That's from the Hebrew scripture. That's from the Hebrew scriptures, but also Jesus then also shares that as how to follow and how to be one of his followers, and then he reiterates it. But I give you a new commandment: you should love one another as I've loved you. So it has to start with love.
But a four-letter word is what I would like to ask to be redefined from the MAGA people. Could they define love for me?
Yeah, but what
and humanity for me?
Yeah,
and humane treatment?
Yeah. So that's why I go back to with being alienated from God, because love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, and mind, and then that part. Second is like to love your neighbor as yourself. I've preached on this before about how do you love yourself.
Oh,
how do you love yourself? Because you can't
good point.
You can't love your neighbor as yourself.
Good point.
If you don't love yourself.
Good point.
If you don't love yourself. So what we're seeing is a situation where we have people who are in power who do not love themselves. Do not love themselves. And because they don't love themselves, they cannot love their neighbor or have a concept of what neighbor is. Now, for us on a day-to-day basis, how does that trickle down? That's what I thought about you in terms of like within how are you all navigating this, seeing this? Is it triggering old wounds, bringing that back up again? And then like for your own mental health and well-being, having been this road before, how are you navigating that space, that mental space? Do y'all need to go to, is it like, I'm all for therapy. Does someone need to go to therapy to look at, what's happening with this? So how do we go forward in love? I haven't really expected to bring that up in this conversation, but it just came up in terms of just thinking about how do we go forward now with loving our neighbors as ourselves. So first of all, loving ourselves. When I've preached on this before, I've talked about part of loving yourself is loving God. That's part of loving yourself and wanting to have that relationship with the Lord, our God, being relationship with the Lord, being relationship with God, and then that then guides your steps and orders your steps on what you are to do in life. And so part of that, I believe, leads to what we've been talking about privately, is listening to what the Lord would have you to do.
Right.
It's one of the prayers I have in my book, Lord Have Mercy, 5 go-to prayers when you need to pray but don't know what to say. Then going to that prayer number 1, Lord, please show me the way. So looking to the Lord to guide you and to be in God's will is part of that first part of loving yourself and hearing the plans the Lord has for you and what you are to do and how to use your gifts, your skills, and your talents with in a way that's pleasing to God. And then that leads to loving your neighbor. And part of that is, I think, for survival, I'm gonna call it that. Survival is,
oh yes,
what do we need to do to take care of ourselves in this moment in time, and then how that then overflows to the community at large.
I don't have a survival kit.
Okay.
I just know that the one survival kit that you heard me say, and that is not to go out in the streets and protest, because that is the survival. That is a survival tactic, to not go out in the streets and protest, because the survival part of that is that you're home, safe with your family, and you're not out putting yourself in harm's way. Now you're in harm's way just being Black. That's harm's way every day. We all know that. But if you put yourself out there in the street to protest, then I don't recommend that. I recommend that we go about the business of what, like we went somewhere yesterday, we went somewhere today. We had a lovely time.
Mm-hmm.
We were gathered with our own people. We were gathered with academicians. We were gathering with musicians and artists, people who have major accomplishments. Shout out to Galen for the Spirit Award from Clark Atlanta University. And I'm just saying that we continue our path until we don't, till we, maybe there is no more path. When they get to trying to erase us physically, then that's a whole nother thing that I'm hoping that they're not going to be trying to do something like that. God, because that's not going to work. And then, but what will work is that we continue what God has given you a purpose. You see, and you got to stay on your purpose. You cannot tell me that the way things are going, that we're not supposed to be sitting here tonight, or we're not supposed to be doing these shows that we're doing. Someone said to me today, well, do you have a large following? And I said, no, I'm happy with my following. I got 890 people. I'm glad to have my 800. And so people have thousands of followers, talking to me. I said, that's fine, but I'm gonna stay on my path. You see, don't get distracted by what's going on out there. God gave you some things to do, and you need to be about those things. You got family. You got, my family has come to see about me. Go see about your family, and work together on what you're gonna do if this happens. What we're gonna do if this happens. Let's put all our two pennies together. Let's figure out something together. That's the survival kit. It's family, and what is family? Love.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
What is family? Love. It's all about
back
love.
To love. Yeah.
But we back to love. We back to the Christian thing here. We're back to what she read from where? What was that?
John. Thank you for asking. I did not say the Gospel according to John, chapter 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
35.
See, that's what we
34.
Because on Monday through Friday, when you with me, I give you the another version. Me and my dear.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, we'll have to consider doing this again.
Yes.
Coming online and having a conversation.
We got to
ask questions. now we got to figure out.
We got to figure it out now.
YouTube's going. We thank you for watching and subscribing to this channel. This is DrGeorgianne Thomas channel. My channel is Alvalyn Sanders Swafford. Over here on this device. Thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in 5 days a week.
Oh yeah,
support her.
I'll be on it tomorrow. You know that. Monday through Friday, baby girl, right here.
You can go to alvalyn.com, ALVELYN. That's my name, alvalyn.com, to get the book there. It has 5 go-to prayers. These are prayers that got me through a challenging time in life. They're 5 one-sentence prayers, and they will transform your life. Discover the power of 5 go-to prayers at Alvalyn, ALVELYN.com. Get the hard copy or get the ebook there, and you can subscribe to my channel. And of course, thank you for subscribing to DrGeorgianne Thomas's channel, my channel. She talks about how to get old without getting older, Monday through Fridays on a slice of life. So we're thankful to the Lord for bringing us through this day. We've been up and down, driving around the road, and lots of places we've been this weekend.
We have
a lot of places this weekend, but we were able to have a good time, good weekend, good time of fellowship.
Yeah, we did.
And so God bless you. God bless you. All right. Thank you all for being here. We will see you in the next video. We're not sure if we may post this, we may not, but if you're here, you're here. You saw it.
I'm posting this.
You're posting it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Post all my stuff. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's why I love YouTube. Because you just can do. And it's okay.
It is. Okay. All right. God bless you all. God be with you all. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Mom.
Okay. Thanks, daughter.
God bless you all. Thank you.